I never thought I'd find myself questioning the very foundation of my life. My wife, Priya, and I had been married for 10 years, with 2 children we loved more than anything. Our life seemed perfect, a comfortable home, stable jobs, and weekends filled with family outings. But all of that crumbled the day I made a simple, casual decision that would change everything. It started when I overheard Priya on the phone, whispering nervously, as if afraid I might be listening. Something in her voice didn't sit right with me. I tried to dismiss it, attributing it to work stress or family concerns. But a seed of doubt had been planted. The suspicion grew over the months. Priya became increasingly secretive with her phone, and small inconsistencies in her stories started to pile up. Then, a friend casually mentioned that Priya had been spending a lot of time with someone from her office. At first, I laughed it off, unwilling to entertain the thought. But something inside me insisted I confirm the truth. One night, after tucking the kids into bed, I decided to take the leap. I secretly arranged a DNA test for both of our children. The results were devastating. My heart sank as I read the report. Neither child was biologically mine. Everything I thought I knew, the love, the trust, the bond, felt like a lie. The woman I had devoted my life to had been cheating on me, and the consequences were irreversible. I felt a storm of emotions: betrayal, anger, heartbreak, and disbelief. I wanted confrontation, but I realized that raw emotion alone wouldn't suffice. I needed strategy, patience, and a plan that would ensure she truly understood the gravity of her actions. I began my revenge carefully. I started by documenting everything: phone records, messages, emails, and social media interactions that pointed to her affair. I wanted irrefutable evidence, not just for my own clarity, but to make her accountable. I also discreetly spoke to family and friends, gathering witness statements about her interactions and suspicious behavior over the years. Once the evidence was compiled, I confronted Priya calmly. I didn't yell or cry. I presented the DNA results, the documentation of her affair, and the timeline of deceit. The look on her face was a mixture of shock, panic, and desperation. She tried to explain, claiming loneliness and emotional neglect, but it was too late. The damage had been done, and I was no longer willing to tolerate lies. The next step was legal. I filed for divorce, ensuring that custody arrangements were handled appropriately, not out of spite, but to protect myself and the children, who, despite the biological revelation, were still part of our lives in many ways. The court proceedings were emotionally draining, but the evidence I had meticulously gathered ensured that Priya could not manipulate the outcome. But the true satisfaction of revenge came in the strategic exposure. I revealed the affair and the DNA results selectively to family members and mutual friends, not as an act of cruelty, but as a way to restore clarity and accountability. Priya's social reputation crumbled, and the weight of her deceit became undeniable. People who had once admired her suddenly saw the truth. Betrayal, manipulation, and lies had been hiding behind her charming facade. Even after the legal and social consequences, I took one final step to reclaim my life. I cut all emotional ties with Priya. No messages, no reconciliation attempts, no lingering contact. I realized that revenge isn't just about exposing wrongdoing, it's about reclaiming control, dignity, and peace of mind. By ghosting her completely, I ensured that she could no longer disrupt my life or manipulate me further. In the aftermath, I focused on rebuilding myself. Therapy, personal reflection, and time with friends and trusted family helped me process the betrayal. I learned that while biological ties are important, trust, honesty, and respect are far more crucial in defining meaningful relationships. Priya had violated all three, and the consequences were a harsh but necessary lesson. Looking back, the experience taught me several invaluable lessons. Betrayal is often hidden in plain sight. Intuition should never be ignored. And revenge, when planned strategically, can serve as both closure and empowerment. By uncovering the truth, confronting it decisively, and reclaiming my life, I transformed devastation into strength. Today, I live independently, stronger and more cautious about whom I trust. The pain of discovering my children weren't mine will never fully disappear, but I've learned to channel that pain into resilience. Priya's actions have defined her, not me. I emerged from the ordeal with my dignity intact, having turned betrayal into a story of justice, accountability, and personal empowerment. The ultimate lesson is simple: truth, strategy, and self-respect are far more powerful than anger or impulsive revenge. By carefully planning my response, I ensured that betrayal had consequences and that I could rebuild my life on my own terms. Priya learned the hard way that deceit carries a heavy price, and I walked away with clarity, strength, and freedom.